Dan is in Stocksbridge. Hello, Dan.
Good morning.
Hi, where do you stand on this?
Well, it's quite scary, really. Nick Clegg's one of our local MPs, deputy of the opposite of the condemned coalition at the moment, and he's speaking out against these closures. But his government is the one that's passing down these cuts. I think it's awful. It's two-faced. He's trying to have his cake and eat it.
Now, you're a member of the People's Assembly, aren't you? What's that?
That's correct. People's Assembly is a broad-reaching umbrella organisation which incorporates everybody in Sheffield who's against austerity. We support the Libraries campaign. People should get down there at 1 p.m. at the Town Hall today. And we support everybody else. I think the biggest issue with this is that our Labour Council is pushing on, or is accepting these cuts from central government. If we get this passed through today and the libraries aren't cut, don't have their funding restricted, it's going to be another issue. They're going to cut somewhere else, whether it be children's services or youth clubs, which I believe they're already cutting. We need the council to stand up to the government and say, we can't do this. Sheffield didn't cause any of these financial problems. Sheffield isn't responsible. We need to keep our services. They're vital.
Are enough people using the libraries?
I believe they are, and I think the usage of them is going to go up as well with the changes in benefits. Universal credit requires people to use a computer to sign on, and most people who are on the dole don't have access to a computer at home. Libraries are the only place they can get them.
So there's no truth then, in your view, in the argument that people just aren't using them, which I guess is what the council would say. I mean, the world is very different to what it was 30 years ago, isn't it?
There's been a change of usage. People are more into e-books and things, which you can get at libraries now, and people are moving more towards media, but they're still a vital resource for people to gain education if they don't have access to it via the internet, as a lot of people who are trying to find work, and we've got some serious unemployment problems at the moment, they gain their education. They're somewhere they can actually apply for jobs and work as well. Having a desk in your house isn't possible if you live in a one-bedroom flat.
Do you think you can actually achieve something here? Because when we've spoken to the council in the past, it seems pretty definite, their plan to go ahead with closing them.
Well, Sheffield has got a history of sort of standing up to the government. I mean, in the 80s, we refused as a city to accept the cuts, and we did some really good things, improved the city fantastically. I'm sure everybody remembers. And we should be able to do this again. We can't accept this austerity agenda that is based on the lies at the top.
What's more important, keeping libraries open or keeping children's services going?
This is exactly the argument that they want us to have. They want us to be arguing between ourselves, saying we need children's services, we need libraries, we need other things. What we don't need is huge bankers' bonuses. What we don't need is unbridled executive pay, which has been spiralling out of control. We want jobs. We want money in the local community. All these workers that are going to be laid off, their spending is going to be cut down.
I mean, listen, we all want that. We all want that, don't we? But the reality is we can't have it.
Well, I think that we can. I think the issue is we've got our priorities in the wrong places. I don't think anybody in Sheffield has. I think people that the council may have, the Labour Council, that are imposing these cuts. And I think that we should maybe look at spending our money less on, say, nuclear weapons and more on children's services, more on libraries. 5,000
signatures on these petitions in a city of 500,000 people.
I don't think it's enough. I think people are going to
sound a lot, does it?
No, people are going to lose something that they will use at some point in their lives, whether it be via schooling, adult education, when they want to take their kids to get a book to read. It's not something you use every day, but I think it's something that's a vital resource.
And what kind of numbers are you expecting to turn out today?
Well, the last set of people we had out for a similar petition, I think the teachers' rally was about 3,000, so it could be anything, really. I think it's up to local people. Get out there, protect your libraries. If you don't use a library now, you may use one in the future. You may want your kids to use one. It may be something you really do need, and hopefully the people who are protecting the libraries will come and protect your services that you do use, if that's not the case.
Dan, appreciate your time. Thank you. That's Dan in Stocksbridge.
Yeah, I'm still here.
Listening to what Jackie's got to say there.
It's exactly the same stories that everybody's saying. Nobody wants their service cut or the service that matters most to them cut, and it shouldn't be cut. This is not a problem that we've caused in Sheffield. I echo what the libraries, the Scalp guy said. This is a problem of central governance. They haven't regulated the banks. They still haven't regulated the banks. We haven't got any of this money back that we've paid them. We're building up more and more national debt. We need to change how we run the country and how we structure our economy.
I mean, you had the issue with the leisure centre up there, didn't you? Up at Stocksbridge.
It's shocking. We're losing amenities, and local volunteers are doing a fantastic job. But it's not enough. We don't have the resources to do this. But as a community, the council taxes used to pay towards these things. We used to have a real spirit for this sort of thing as a country, and especially in South Yorkshire.
Dan, appreciate your time. Thank you. Jackie wants you to give the alternative, Dan. She wants to give you an alternative. What else can go? How do you expect to keep them open is the question she keeps repeating.
Well, it's all about money at the end of the day, and we've got to look at the figures on it. Things like 120 billion pounds of tax avoidance and evasion that we're not chasing. Vodafone alone of 6 million pounds, or it might be 600 million actually. Sorry, it could be. Yeah, it is. Sorry. This is huge tax avoidance. This isn't money that people have just lost or something. This is money that we're deliberately not collecting. HMRC is not bringing it in. I don't see why I should lose services and why anybody else in Sheffield should lose services if taxes aren't being collected. If I didn't pay my tax, they'd come around my